All right, what is going on? I have probably one of the best videos that I have made so far. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 5 core functions of a business and what really learning these couple things have allowed me to go from 0 to 2 million in under a year in my business. And hopefully we'll be able to help you guys out as well. So there are 4 stages before you even know what the 5 core functions of a business are, of competence and not knowing what you don't know. And this is where the hardest part, because in business, when I first opened up, I didn't actually have a whole lot of business. I didn't have leads. I didn't know. All I knew was I had this thing that I wanted to sell, and I didn't know how to get it out there. And so I had this product, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And then I know that I don't know how to get new business. That's what I knew. And so after that, after I just finally had the mental realization that I know how to now get leads, now I'm going to go on to the next stage of like, okay, so I've gotten new leads. I don't know that I know now that I've been doing it for so long. It's just become second nature to me, because now it's like, oh, well, why don't you just get more business? And then I know how to go back and get more business. Whereas other people, when they're just starting out their journey or maybe have a new offer, don't fully understand how to get new leads and new business. So those are the 4 stages of competence. And really right here, I'm hoping that I can help you go from really not sure what you need to know to everything that you need to know about the 5 core functions of business, and how it can really come together and paint a holistic picture of your business. And really go from working on the business to from working in the business to on the business, instead of a lot of people just keep on working in it, and instead of working on it to be able to help grow and scale the business. So simple scales, fancy fails. And right here, the 5 core functions of your business are lead generation, lead nurture, conversion, delivery, resell, and upsell. And the way that you're going to be able, and I have some notes here and some things that I've learned on how to optimize all these things. I went through and I did a self-audit of my business, and I actually graded myself out of 5. When I first started in business, I was a 0 in lead gen. I had no way to generate new leads. And then after I got really clear on my offer, I knew exactly how to generate new leads. And so that really bumped it up to like maybe a 2 or a 3. And then I was able to optimize and dial that in later when I figured out more about marketing and sales. Then we move over to lead nurture. There's a couple things to do in between here, and I'll go through all the little notes that I have here to optimize every single step in here to be able to help grow and scale your business. And I think when I first started, my lead nurture was definitely a 0, and I didn't know a whole lot about getting leads to show up. And then my next part was conversion, and that's really sales. Sales I've actually boiled down to a really easy 5 questions really to know about the sales process, and to be able to help people out and really, the one person I would suggest, I'll kind of get into that later, but there's one person who I'm going to suggest who knows everything about sales and is great at what they do. So delivery is the next part. And that's, how do you deliver what you do? Now, when I was delivering, I was probably maybe a 4 or at delivery, because I had a really good product and I was really good at what I did. So I didn't really have a lot to work on there, and that's really independent. That's depends on every single business is different. So, there's not a whole lot I can put on delivery there. And then resell and upsell. And then I'll walk through some of our best steps on how we've been able to double customers. So essentially every time we get one customer, they usually end up referring us to 1 or 2 people outside of themselves. So one customer equals many more customers. All right. So number 1 is lead gen. There's a couple things that I figured out. And number 1 is you have to actually have an offer. If you don't have or don't understand or know what it is that you offer to the marketplace and how it's valuable, what value do you provide, then you don't have a business, and there's no way that you're going to be able to even worry about lead gen, because you have nothing to generate leads for. So that's step 1. But this is assuming that you already have an offer to be able to generate to. And obviously optimizing your offer is really important as well. And I have a worksheet as well for you to go through, and you can actually go through and grade yourself, and you can follow along. So go ahead and download that. That's going to be in the link below. You can just make a copy of this document, and you can follow along with me as we go through this, and you can grade your own business, and then you're going to be able to figure out what your deficiencies are and what you're going to be able to do to improve it. So number 1 about lead generation is, if it's not scalable, I won't even do it. And I know Alex Ramosi in his book $100 Million Leads, he goes over, oh, well, you can start off with organic content. Yeah, sure, you can get your first 10 customers that way, but it's not scalable. And so the first thing, if I'm already past my first 10 customers, or if I already have customers, my next thing is I need to find a scalable way to get new leads. If it's not scalable, I have zero interest in learning anything about it. That's just the truth of the matter. If it's not scalable, I don't want to learn about it. And number one is if you're under $100,000 a month, realistically, you only need one channel. I would focus on one channel. I wouldn't maybe only do one channel, but I would focus on one channel. So for example, Facebook ads, that's one channel. You could also double it and go to, Google as well, depending on what your business, if it was search-based or interest-based, depending on Facebook or Google, that's usually what it is. If people are searching for it, they're going to go to Google. If people are interested in it, they're going to go to Facebook. Or it's a good platform for you to market on. Now, generally speaking, if you already have a scalable way to generate new leads, or even if you don't, if you double the leads, you double the business. Most people think it's like some complicated thing to just really scale your business. No, it's easy as that. Double the leads, double the business. Now, the execution of that may look a little bit different, going from $10,000 in ad spend to $100,000 in ad spend per month, but the principles remain the same. Double the leads, double the ad spend. And most importantly, is track data. All of this stuff is good, but if you're not actually tracking, you have no way of telling what's working. And so you can't really have a scalable system if you don't track your data. And that's the big thing that people kind of worry about is, hey, I don't know how many inputs and how many outputs that I am getting from the efforts that I'm making to generate new leads. So you have to track data. And I actually have a free spreadsheet in the description below that you can download and you can use to track your own data. It's what I use for sales, and it's free for you as well. So hopefully that's helpful. This is what that spreadsheet looks like, just for you to be able to see what it looks like. It kind of gives you how much revenue, expenses, how many new leads that you're getting, how many people have unsubscribed, total database, web traffic. And this is one of the easy tools that I use. It's a free spreadsheet. It's a one pager. It couldn't get any easier than this. And this is how do you go from having a side hustle to having an actual business, is by having data that you can track. There are some people who use other things. Obviously, this is just a sample spreadsheet that you can use for yourself. But this is how you're tracking new leads, and you're figuring out how you can grow and scale. Pretty easy spreadsheet to use. All right, next step is lead nurture. And this is where things get a little bit more complicated because people don't like to do lead gen as much. They're really good at getting people to buy, but maybe they're not really good at nurture. So it's a buy or die sort of environment. For example, if you put your name into an ad form and you book a call, but maybe you don't want to buy just then, people have a hard time doing follow-up. So there's great systems. There's great AI systems that do follow-up now they're really great. There's also just posting content. That's one of the best things. But here's how you're going to be able to nurture leads in between the conversions to the sales process and lead gen. So let's say someone doesn't buy from you or doesn't even book a call from you, but they follow you on some social media platform. Now your job is to nurture that person until they buy from you. So here's what I do to get from around an 80% show rate on my calls. And if you think I missed anything, let me know in the comments below. Number one, brand is everything. And in case you don't have that, then you can start with the next steps. And what I mean by brand is if people know who you are and you have a good brand associated with what you do, people are going to be more likely to show up with your meetings, to your meetings, period. And number two is I call the person within 5 minutes of filling out the ad. So if they didn't book, usually I just call them right away. And obviously it won't be me. It'll probably be someone on my sales team. And then they're going to say, hey, thanks for filling out the ad. What got you interested? And then they're going to work that person down the pipeline and hopefully become a customer. So number three is I will make a promise for when they book of something valuable that they will need, that they currently have a need for, and that they will get on the call. So you're opening a loop and closing a loop. And then what I mean by loop is there's loops in storytelling. So, for example, an open loop in storytelling is saying once upon a time, or it was a dark and stormy night. Those are opening loops. Now you kind of want to hear what happens next. So if you open a loop, a storytelling loop before, hey, just so you know, on that call, I'm going to actually send you some stuff that we're going to go over. So if you have any questions, beforehand, let me know, but I'll be happy to send that and show you that information on the call. Now that gets someone really excited or more excited to show up by giving or promising something valuable ahead of time. And this is why niching down is really important. If you're niche down, let's say you're only working with construction companies, and you know, hey, everyone who comes on needs some sort of pricing spreadsheet to be able to improve their margins, then say, hey, on that call, just so you know, we're going to give you a free resource on improving your margins outside of what we're talking about. Does that sound fair? Most people are gonna be like, yeah, that sounds great. And they're going to be more likely to show up because you're getting them more excited about the call. All right, so number 4, on the initial call, I make a promise of something that we're going to go on. So let's say you're having a 2-call close and you're having a set call and also a close call. You're opening loops throughout the entire process. So the first call was before they even decided to book in. This is a setting call. And this is calling them and say, hey, would you like to have a quick 50 minutes appointment? It's really short. We just get to know each other, or ask if there is any way that we can even help. Usually that one's over the phone, whatever it may be. And you say, hey, on that, I'm going to give you some margins as well. I'm going to give you a spreadsheet for you to be able to be useful for your business as well. And then say, okay, great. This sounds like a good fit on the setting call. I'd like to book in a sales call or a longer call for 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it may be, where we can go over some details in person. And on that call, I'm going to actually give you some more resources to be able to help grow and scale your business. How does that sound? And now you're making them more excited of, oh, I'm getting more resources before I'm even on the sales call on how to grow and scale my business. I'm more excited or more likely to show up. Once again, you're opening loops, and that really highly increases the number of people who are going to be able to show up to your calls. All right, so everything is as personalized as possible. So think about getting a text from an iPhone versus a generic any phone. So iPhone has this thing where it's a blue bubble that when you're getting a text from an iPhone, it comes up as a blue bubble. You know that that's a person that's sending you that message. And so if you have a way to make sure that the other person knows, and this is actually what we've done for our sales team, is we'll buy them like $150 iPhones off of Amazon renewed. And it's just an easy way. And a Mint Mobile, I think, is like $15 a month. So you just get that. That person now has an iPhone that they're able to send messages to prospects, and it's personalized. It's even more personalized than it was before. So that's what I mean by trying to make it as personalized as possible. I like sending voice notes. I love sending videos to be able to give more human interaction there to get them more excited, because people will ghost a company, but they'll have a harder time ghosting a personal relationship because they feel indebted to that person generally. So number 6 is I have my niche and script dialed in so that I have a good product market fit or a higher product market fit. So what I mean by that is always niche down. So you marry the avatar, date the product. Find out who am I serving, and then how can I provide this avatar the most amount of value. That is how you actually create a successful company. So if you have an avatar already dialed in, then you are able to make things like scripts and provide value before you even show up to the call. So if applicable, I will send voice notes or videos, number 7, and it personalizes even more. And I'll go through exactly what I just said here. Now, number 8 is I'll connect with them on social media. Depending on what type of sales process you'll do, I'll send them. Obviously, you have to have a really good online presence. You have to have a good Facebook profile. You have to have a good LinkedIn profile, Instagram, whatever it is. You can't have pictures of you partying, drinking, being all around degenerate. You actually have to have a good professional front-facing image. So what I would do is I actually prefer on all platforms possible. I go on Facebook, Instagram, maybe not Instagram, because Instagram is less of like a human to human. It's more, Facebook is like I'm sending you a friend request. Instagram is just a follow. It's a little bit different. And then you could also I would definitely do LinkedIn if you're on like a more of a B2B or complex, longer selling environment. That's how I would connect with people on social media, to give them that much of a feel. And this is going to be able to help increase your show rate, and it's also going to help increase your close rate as well, because now you're talking to a person. And I have an app like Calendly that will integrate and automatically send texts and emails reminders. Now, everyone should have that. There's Go High Level, which is a great program, and I do enjoy that one. And then number 10, though, sales is just be a human. Sales is human to human. It's not B2B. It's not B2C. It's human to human, H to H. So just keep that in mind. You're talking to another person. You're trying to convince them that you provide something of value. All right, so that's everything in lead nurture. And if you actually do those 10 things, your lead nurture is going to crush when it comes to getting people to show up to calls. And I already know another thing is posting on social media. I just post organically on social media. Now, That's videos like this, that's videos on Instagram, videos on TikTok, all of it. Post content, post text-based on X, post stuff on Facebook. That's how you're able to nurture leads, because even if you don't get someone to buy, you send them a friend request, you get them in your circle of marketing, you get them to join your Facebook group, whatever it is, you are now able to nurture that person. Or if you get their email, then you can set up an email sequence. That's another way to warm people up. I always instantly, as soon as someone hops on, everyone's put into an email sequence to get them warmed up and welcomed into what we do to get us some information. Email is very underrated. All right, conversions. Now, conversion is one of the things that is simple, not easy. And after you have a certain amount of, and this is what we help people out with our program, is conversions. We do a lot of sales training, because sales training is it's really cool. I love sales as long as it's done right. And I've had lots of experience with hard selling tactics. I didn't like them a whole lot, and I really preferred Jeremy Miner's NEPQ system with selling. And so we're I really highly suggest him. I think he's great at sales. I go follow him on everything, and he's fantastic. So the conversion is, there's really 5 questions here that are so easy. And once you understand these 5 questions, you're going to be able to get people to convert way faster, way quicker, way easier than you did before. And you're going to usually prevent ejections from coming up. What problems do you solve? And this is why you need to niche down. If you don't niche down your avatar, you do not have a business. What problems do you solve? Now, if you already know all the problems that you solve, you can press those pain points in your marketing, in your videos, in your emails, in the messages and communications, and on the call, the pre-call, in your marketing. If you understand what problems that you solve, your sales is going to be way easier, because you already know what problems they have. And your product does hopefully solves those problems if you have a good product. And number 2 is, what is the actual root cause of the problem that they have? So let's say that you're selling sales training, and their problem is, I don't know how to close people. What is the root cause of that problem of that cause? Maybe they're using an ineffective system that's outdated and that people don't really like. Or maybe they don't have a sales script, or maybe they don't really understand the different processes in a sales, or maybe they don't understand what influence actually is. Number 3 is, how do those problems affect your prospect personally? Let's say that yours, once again, selling some sort of coaching or consulting when it comes to sales. If you know that your prospect is not good at sales and it will affect their business, and this is also how I do my setting calls, is I usually go through these. I'll push on these questions real quick, and I figure out, how does it affect them personally? Oh, well, it's affecting me. I'm not able to spend more time at home. I'm having to work all these hours, and it's not what I want to do. Then now that's how that affects it personally. Sometimes people don't even really buy for money. They buy based off of whatever belief that they have. So number 4 is, what are the consequences of not solving that problem? So if you don't get good at sales, what's going to happen? Your business is going to fail, because you can't sell anyone on being able to work for you, and you can't sell anyone on being able to buy your product. That is what happens if you are not good at sales or don't have an understanding of sales. That's the consequences of not solving the problem, which will lead to them not having any money, not having any free time. They're going to lose their car. They're going to lose their house. They're going to lose their family, because they're not able to provide value or money or influence. So that's really the consequences of maybe not becoming good enough at sales. It's harsh, but it's true. Number 5 is, how does your solution solve that problem? So you've built up all the sales pressure, and I'm sure you can do it. If you're thinking in your mind right now, what are the consequences of not solving this problem? How does your solution solve this problem? And if you can actually bridge that gap and say, hey, our solution is able to help you have a good understanding of sales so that you can make money, so that you can be able to spend more time with your family, so that you can have a successful business, and so that you can hire people, so that you can scale your team and market better. That's what our product does. That's what our product does. So, if you do want to work with us, click the link below. Love to talk with you, and you can book in a call with us. We'd love to see if we can help you out. But for real though, how does your solution solve their problem? Now, I know that our solution solves business owners' problems. So that's why, if you work with us and you want to be able to grow and scale your business to where you want to be able to go, we can do that. because I have a really good understanding of this. And I'd love to be able to help you have a better understanding of this as well. That's why I'm putting out this content. Next is delivery. There's not a whole lot I got on there just because every single business is different and every single delivery process is different as well. The way that you deliver a software is going to be much different than you deliver a pizza to a door. There are some basic things. Obviously, you want to make sure customer service is good and that there's some feedback in there as well. But outside of that, it's very difficult. This delivery is one of the first things to be outsourced. All right, resell and upsell. Already, resell and upsell is very, very interesting. This is one of the getting new customers is one of the hardest things ever. So I'd rather just work with someone for a stupid long amount of time, and that's what really makes me happiest. So set the frame early and just say, people always refer us. That's usually what I like to do. And I like to say, hey, who do you know that this would also work out well for? Do you have anyone else that you know? Because if your product is really good and it truly does change lives, then people will want to refer you. So if you set the frame early, and I worked at this gym at one point, and in our sales office, we had this giant sign. It was one of those signs that has like this metal base and that stands up maybe 5 or 6 feet tall or whatever. And on it, it said like, friends always refer. And so what I'm getting at here is if you set the tone early and say, hey, everyone refers, everyone's a referral, everyone helps us to refer people, then you're going to have much more referrals because you've already just set that expectation of, we want referrals. We want to work with other people like you. So number 2 is use customer data to sell the results. And this is something that I didn't do at first, and I kind of regret it. I definitely hugely regretted it. I didn't actually track customer success and customer data. And I wish I would have done that. I really, 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 really should have started that because that would have made my whole process way, way, way easier. So definitely start tracking customer results and say, what were you doing before you started with us? What are you doing now that you've worked with us? Use the comparison there and use the customer data to sell. Because if you have data and say, hey, everyone who works with us, the top 90% of people who work with us make 50% more profits in the first 2 months after working with us and make back what they pay us. Then when you're on a sales call, it's like, do you feel like maybe you're in the top 90% of our clients? And to which they're probably going to reply, yes, I do feel like I'm in the top 90% of your clients. So they're going to be more likely to buy from you if you have customer data. Not only that, it protects you from legal guidelines that can open you up to trouble and stuff like that. So customer data is one of the best things. And also it allows you to, like, some of the best agencies in the world, marketing agencies. The worst ones are the ones that have like 10 clients because they're usually not doing so well. They don't have enough data to be able to see what works and then use that. Some of the better, not the best, better ones are the ones that have 300, 200, 500 clients because they have so many people that they will be able to see what's working and what's not. And let's say they have 500 clients and they make one thing that makes a little optimization here. Now that one optimization goes across all of their ad accounts, and they now go from maybe it's 1% on one campaign to now that's worth 500% efficiency across the entire system. So that's really the economies of scale and why tracking your customer data is really important. So number 3 is have multiple offers to be able to upsell and resell people. One of the things that really struck me was like, man, why can I not hit the goals that I want to be able to hit in business? And I was asking a couple of friends of mine who were doing over $100 million a year. And they were like, well, you only have one offer. So you need to change that. And if you have multiple offers, then you're gonna be able to upsell and resell people. And that's how you're gonna be able to grow to be able to get to where you want to. And how do you have multiple offers? Solve people's problems chronologically. Niche down, already niche down. You marry the avatar, date the product. So now that you already know your avatar, whatever the first problem that people have is, solve the next problem. So for example, when people work with us, they end up getting so much business that they end up needing to hire other people to be able to help manage the amount of business that they get. So the next thing that we help them out with, which is usually a couple of weeks into our program, we tell them, hey, now you're ready to go through the hiring section. And now we're going to help you hire more people to be able to fulfill on the things that you are interested in learning more about. So those are the things that you can do to be able to upsell and resell clients and really master the 5 core functions of a business. keep in mind, your role as a CEO is to delegate and to put money or delegate resources. That is your job. And the two roles that you have are the time and money. Those are the two things that you have. Time is like the clutch, if you know what an old car is, the clutch, versus money, which is the gas that makes your car go. That is how, and every single person in your business should be a mini CEO. That is what they should be. So you're going to see right here, as mini CEOs, most people are only devoting their time to whatever, and whoever is above them in the management structure usually is telling them where they should allocate their time. But if everyone is like their own little CEO, but obviously you have an accountability chart to make sure that you do need some sort of structure in a business. If you have an accountability chart, they can also say, hey, how would you allocate your time and money to solve problems in the business? At the end of the day, every business is made based off of solving problems. So if every single person in your business is their own little mini CEO and can figure out where to allocate time and money to solve problems, you will have a more efficient and better company, I think. But that only comes with hiring the right people who have the ability to manage their time and also figure out where to put money. So those are the 5 core functions of business. Thank you so much for watching, and leave some comments below. What do you think? What kind of questions do you have for me? I'd love to make more videos and figure out what kinds of things that I can help out with and help grow and scale your business. And if you want us to work with you, then go ahead and click the link below and book in a call with us, and we'd love to talk with you. Thanks.